Good evening, welcome to Queer News Tonight. Orlando commemorated Pulse nightclub shooting with a remembrance ceremony, blood donation drive, and prayer ribbon exhibition honoring the victims. South Florida and all of America remembers. A federal court blocked Florida's ban on gender-affirming care, upholding transgender rights against discrimination. The federal court says gender identity is a reality. In our stories from Stonewall Pride, we announced Grindr's bus tour for Pride Month shares user data and trends in 10 cities, creating excitement and engagement in the LGBTQ+ community. The bus is to visit Wilton Manors starting tomorrow. RuPaul's Drag Race Defense Fund raises $2 million with the ACLU to fight anti-LGBTQ+ laws amid widespread rights rollbacks in the U.S. Jon Stewart criticizes corporations for exploiting LGBTQ+ pride for profit, highlighting insincere campaigns from Burger King, Skittles, and Target. This straight ally defines rainbow capitalism. Good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming platform. It's time to queer up the news for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans students and youth, seniors, HIV and AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community. We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television, news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community. I'm your anchor for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ+ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of queer news for Thursday, June 13th, 2024. First this evening, let's queer up social justice. Orlando commemorates 8 years since Pulse nightclub tragedy. On June 12, 2016, a gunman opened fire in the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, resulting in deaths of 49 people and wounding 53 others. Omar Mateen, who pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group, engaged in a 3-hour standoff before being killed by police. Yesterday, the city of Orlando invited the community to honor the 49 lives lost in the Pulse nightclub shooting. The annual remembrance ceremony took place at the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts and included the ringing of 49 bells at First United Methodist Church, Orlando, part of the Acts of Love and Kindness movement by One Orlando Alliance. In addition to the ceremony, a Remembrance Day blood drive was held outside City Hall and the Dr. Phillips Center. The victims were also honored with an exhibition of prayer ribbons at Henry Pugh Lou Gardens and Orlando City Hall Plaza, featuring names and messages of hope. On a personal note, Hotspots Happening Out executive producer Al Ferguson was at ORMC Crisis Center in Orlando on the day of the Pulse shooting. His friend and employee, and the first name announced who died on the scene, was Eddie Sotomayor. Eddie was internationally known for his coordination of the RuPaul's Drag Race cruises across the world. Queer News Tonight remembers the 49 and especially Eddie Sotomayor. Next, let's queer up trans rights. Federal court permanently blocks Florida's ban on gender-affirming care. In a landmark decision, a federal court has permanently barred Florida from enforcing its ban on gender-affirming care for transgender minors and restrictions on care for transgender adults. The ruling, issued by Judge Robert Hinkle of the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Florida, emphasizes the importance of upholding the rights of transgender individuals. Judge Hinkle's ruling said, quote, "Transgender opponents are free to hold their beliefs, but they are not free to discriminate against transgender individuals just for being transgender," end quote. He compared discrimination against transgender individuals to racism and misogyny, asserting that such discrimination will diminish over time. The ruling highlights the crucial role of federal courts in upholding the Constitution and laws to ensure equal rights for all citizens. Judge Hinkle emphasized the reality of gender identity, stating, quote, "Gender identity is real," end quote. Despite the ruling, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has vowed to appeal, claiming that the state acted to protect children. However, Judge Hinkle has previously criticized DeSantis for spreading misinformation about transgender care for young people. The case, known as Doe versus Lopato, found that Florida's laws and rules were motivated by disapproval of transgender people and violated the equal protection rights of transgender individuals and parents of transgender minors in the state. This new ruling marks a significant victory for the transgender community and reaffirms the importance of access to gender-affirming care for transgender individuals of all ages. Next, let's queer up gay culture. Grindr bus comes to Wilton Manors Stonewall Pride. Grindr has just released a 10-city data report unveiling preferences stats about its users in places like New York, San Francisco, New Orleans, and Phoenix. According to the report, Los Angeles boasts, quote, "the lowest average height of all cities," end quote. Great news for the short king population. Meanwhile, Chicago has earned a reputation for all talk and no action, as the app reported Windy City users are most likely to have chats as their number one looking for option. Desert Haven, Phoenix was noted as a mecca for public play, but not body hair, and Atlanta reportedly has an overwhelming supply of bubble butt bottoms. The supply is part of the app's Grindr Rides America bus tour, making stops in 10 cities for Pride Month. So far, the Grindr bus has visited San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Atlanta, and New Orleans, and one of the upcoming stops includes Wilton Manors for Stonewall Pride. The tour visits the city here on June 15th. Unsurprisingly, the presence of a giant orange bus is making the LGBTQ+ community even more excited. Heterosexual streamer Hassan Piker, with 2.6 million followers on Twitch, caused chaos when he passed by the party during its tenure at We Hope Pride, jokingly claiming not to be an ally but happily participating in the fun. People have been sharing sightings of the bus across the country. Stay tuned to know what happens when the bus visits the gayest place on planet Earth, Wilton Manors. And don't forget to join 50,000 of your friends at Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival this Saturday. Next, let's queer up drag culture. RuPaul's Drag Race Defense Run raises $2 million for LGBTQ+ rights. With LGBTQ+ rights under fire across the U.S. and worldwide, RuPaul is championing a fierce fight back with her mantra, quote, "You better work." Since launching the Drag Defense Fund in April 2023, RuPaul and her television franchise have raised over $2 million in collaboration with the American Civil Liberties Union, or ACLU, Drag Race producer World of Wonder, and MTV. In the past year, over 500 bills were introduced aiming to roll back LGBTQ+ rights, including drag performance bans in states like Tennessee and Kentucky. These measures have sparked both boycotts and bold performances defying state officials. In September, the ACLU sued Blount County District Attorney Ryan Desmond in Tennessee after he threatened to shut down a scheduled Blount County Pride event featuring drag artists. Despite a federal ruling deeming the straight drag ban unconstitutional, Desmond persisted. A federal judge sided with organizers, barring Desmond and local law enforcement from interfering, allowing the event to proceed without incident. Donations to the Drag Defense Fund are driven by a QR code featured at the end of RuPaul's Drag Race episodes and its All-Star spin-off, encouraging fans to contribute to the cause. Next, let's queer up business. Jon Stewart criticizes corporations for exploiting LGBTQ+ pride. American comedian and writer Jon Stewart has expressed frustration with companies co-opting LGBTQ+ pride for financial gain. On a recent episode of The Daily Show, Stewart roasted pride campaigns from corporations like Burger King, Skittles, and Target, accusing them of using the queer community for profit after years of neglect. He said, quote, "Pride Month is, of course, that time of year when corporations get together and financially exploit the decades-long struggle of gay people for acceptance and equality," end quote. He highlighted a Burger King campaign featuring a burger with, quote, "two bottom buns" as a gimmicky attempt to, quote, cash in on Pride Month. Stewart also criticized Target's recent decision to stock Pride merchandise in only half its stores after facing conservative backlash. He criticized the company's inconsistent support for its queer customers and questioned the sincerity of corporate activism. He did not hesitate from saying, quote, "Let's stop pretending a corporation can even be woke or unwoke or patriotic or unpatriotic. Let's just let corporations live their truth as the profit-seeking Patrick Bateman psychopaths they are," end quote. As nonprofit LGBTQ+ media corporation, we'd like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We also thank the general support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ+ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jet's Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Next, we're proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out Television Studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. We finish tonight's queer news headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News. LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News, let's queer up gay culture. Kylie Minogue to star in Netflix documentary. Kylie Minogue has secured a lucrative deal with Netflix to film a fly-on-the-wall documentary about her life and rise to fame, especially among LGBTQ+ fans. According to The Mirror, the 56-year-old Padam Padam singer signed a 7-figure contract. Netflix faced a bidding war with Apple TV and Disney Plus to make this happen. The series is set to begin filming later this year. LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News, let's queer up entertainment. Dolly Parton is not a real Christian because of her support of LGBTQ+. Dolly Parton's fans are fiercely defending her LGBTQ+ stance after a conservative site Federalist criticized her faith and support for the queer community in an essay titled, quote, "There's nothing loving about Dolly Parton's false gospel," end quote. Writer Erica Anderson claims that Parton's support of LGBTQ+ rights makes her an inconsistent Christian, sparking significant backlash. 55 years of celebrating our LGBTQ+ history, from the 1969 Stonewall riots to the 2024 Stonewall Parade. These are the stories of Stonewall Pride. Stonewall Pride features Les Chic at the Well, women's event June 14th. Women's Press Play Weekend at Stonewall Pride Festival and Parade begins on Friday, June 14th with Les Chic at the Well. Based out of Miami, Les Chic was founded by event curator Ray Janae in 2018 for women to have fun. Each event is intricately themed, specifically staffed, and beautifully decorated. The Well is a popular restaurant and bar known for creating LGBTQ+ safe spaces. Further details on the event and tickets are available on stonewallpride.lgbt. Don't miss the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on Saturday, June 15th, and all of the great women's events. LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News, let's queer up the USA view. SPLC report reveals surge in hate groups across the U.S. A recent report from the Southern Poverty Law Center highlights a significant rise in hate groups in America. According to the SPLC's annual Year in Hate and Extremism report, the number of hate groups nearly doubled from 2021 to 2023, now exceeding 1,400 across all states. The SPLC attributes this surge to efforts aimed at influencing the 2024 election, viewing recent years as preparation for establishing a right-wing anti-pluralistic government. LGBTQ+ 1 Minute News, let's queer up the worldview. Ancient Egyptian tomb suggests reverence for gay couple. On November 12, 1964, Chief Inspector of Lower Egypt, Monir Basta, held an expedition into a recently excavated burial shaft in the necropolis. Inside, scholars believe they discovered the first documented depiction of a gay couple. Neakhnum and Nohemtep, royal manicurists to King Nisiri-Ini, the tomb, inscribed with, quote, joined in life and joined in death, end quote, hints at ancient reverence for their queer relationship. That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That's the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, David Hopkins, and on behalf of Hotspots Happening Out, we'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you good night.